Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to have a look at Litecoin. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. So we're talking about the potential of having a reversal from this green box area, provided that we stayed above the $65 range. Now we are actually breaking away from this zone, so we need to see how this move actually continues to play out. What I'm looking for here is further evidence that we are in a bigger impulse, where this becomes 1, 2, bigger third wave to the upside, a fourth wave down, and then a fifth wave up. Now, this zone here of this 148 would be a typical zone we are looking for. If we are treating this as a wave 1 and a wave 2, we'd want to see a move up towards this 148 area. Now, within this current structure that we have here, we are looking at the yellow count here, where this becomes looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So we're going to discuss this. I'm going to come into the 1 hourly here, and we're going to have a look at this move. Now, what I'm looking for within the structure here is that this is a 1, 2, and then basically this wave 3 is extending out. We've come past this 1618 already. Now, it's possible this could actually still extend out even further, and we could even see a move up towards this 2.618. Alternatively, what we could have is that we actually complete into this high here, and we could actually be looking for this green fourth wave. Now, the key point here that I wouldn't want to see us lose if we're looking for a fourth wave is this $85 region. Now, if we are looking for a fourth here, what I'd want to see is a three-wave move to the downside here. This 382 would be a typical area that we would look to target out, but it depends on what the structure is in here. Sometimes we can get a shorter move, which might only target out towards this 89.51, in which case they would actually be looking to come back and retest this area here. So keep an eye on that. If we do get a deeper move, potentially we could come back and retest some of these lower ranges here. And then lowest we want to see is a move back down to this $85 region. Now, if we do get a three-wave move down here, what I'll be looking out for is the potential of an additional fifth wave to the upside. Now, if this completes here and we get a retracement down, then this 2.618 could be a particularly interesting area where we could look to complete this green fifth wave. Now, if we do complete this as a five-wave move to the upside, what we'll be looking for is effectively to have another three-wave move to the downside like this, and looking to maintain this 79.32. Anywhere between this 85.18 and the 79.32 would keep this move alive, and invalidation would be looking at the lower range here towards this 75.20. As a invalidation. So that would be this low here. If we lose this low, then potentially we can look at this move in other ways. Now, this is looking at the bullish count here, looking to push to the upside. If we did get a retracement down into this 618, we'd be looking for this 123 as a third wave, basically a fourth wave down again and a fifth wave to the upside. Now, these targets are valid for as long as it continues to, continues to follow these structures. If we do get this extending up to the 2618, then basically this fourth wave target would be higher up, and then we'd be looking for a fifth wave again from that point. We don't have anything substantial enough to match with this wave 2 here, so this is what I'm looking out for. Now, this in the bigger picture would be part of a bigger count here, and I'm actually going to come back onto the daily to have a look at this. So this would be looking at that potential that we are looking to break out in a bigger way here. And what this would be looking at is basically within this bullish count of looking at this as a 1, 2, another 1, 2, 1, 2, and then basically looking for the fact that we are beginning the third of a third wave. Now, what we would want to see here is actually a bigger move to the upside to push us up into the zone of this green wave 1.618, which would be up here at this 159. So that would be our target that we're looking for as a third wave here for this green move. We don't have confirmation of that, so we need to be aware of that that possibility that we might not reach this area, and we need to continue to hold structure. At the moment, we just have a three-way move up here, so we need to be careful this doesn't break down. And like I said, once we start to break down and we lose this low of the $65 range, that gets rid of that idea that this can be another 1, 2, and then we look to push to the upside in that way. Now, what we could have here, if this does fail to actually develop as an impulse, so something I will still be looking out for, is the potential that we could see something rather like this, where this becomes A, this becomes B, and then we could get something like a diagonal pattern here. Now, because we only have a three-wave move to the upside here, I am still looking for that additional fourth and a fifth, and then if that does come in, we'll be looking to maintain this low. If, however, we just have a three-wave move here and we break down below this low, if we do so in a three-wave move, A, B, C, this would then give us that potential that we could actually see this move play out as 1, 2, 3, and then a fifth wave to the downside, something like this, in which case we could be looking for that possibility of actually forming this as A, B, and C as a flat. Now, if we form this as a flat correction, this could still tie into that idea that this could then be a wave 1, this all would be a wave 2, provided that we stay above 61.11. If we lose 61.11, then it would be more likely that we've actually completed into this high and that we're going to look to break down. Now, the other way we're talking about this move is as a possible W, X, Y, X, and a Z. Now, within this move here, what we could argue is that rather from the bottom here, instead of counting this as a series of 1s and 2s, we could argue that this is just ABC, this is an X wave, another 3-wave move, X wave again here, and then we're looking to continue up in this C wave. Now, the 1-to-1 of the previous X wave is actually sitting here at this 114. So if we just form a single 5-wave move here, and we just form this as basically A, B, and we get a 5-wave move up here towards this 113 area, what this would then indicate is that we could actually just have this as a Z wave, as a simple ABC pattern. So we need to see if we start to develop this as a bigger 5-wave move here. If we fail to achieve the bigger impulse, we need to be aware this could actually just be A, B, and C, and that could bring us up into this $114 area as a 1-to-1 of this previous X wave. The 1-to-1 of the W wave would actually bring us towards this 1980 area. So that would be a zone we'd be looking at possibly moving up into and then getting a rejection here. So if we fail to continue to follow that bullish count, we need to just be aware that bullish count relies on this low holding, this low holding. If this low doesn't hold, potentially we could still look bullish as long as we hold this low here of the 61. But once we start to break this $61 region, the count starts to fall apart. So really, as long as we continue to set these higher lows, we can continue to look for that bullish count to the upside. But if we fail to do so, we need to just be aware there is still the potential for a Z wave to the downside. So we need to just be cautious of that within the count. Now, the other way we could potentially argue that we could see this move, and this would be counting it slightly different, is that if this is actually rather just counted in this way, ABC is a W, this is an X wave here. Potentially we could have just had an A wave here, and we're still looking for this B wave. So another thing to just bear in mind is that if we fail to actually break down in a bigger way, so if we fail to form this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, for instance, as a diagonal pattern, what we could actually see going on here is something more along these lines, where we could actually be forming a triangle within this zone, where this is A, B, C, looking for a D wave, and then possibly getting an E wave. Now, we'd only get confirmation with this D wave touch point, and we have come up to this 0.618 area already. So what I want to see here is whether, if we, from this point, break down in a 3-wave move and actually take this high of this wave 1, which would be here at this $82, what we could then find is that we actually have a triangle in this position where this is A, B, C, D, E, and then we could still look to actually have a 5-wave move to the upside from that point. So with that said and done, what that would potentially mean then is that we could actually see something like this, where, like I said, we could actually still be within this Y wave, and what we could be looking for is the potential to come back up one more time here for a C wave. So that C wave, based off of coming back into this channel line again, would actually be up here at this $130. And if we actually look at this as a Y wave here, that 1-to-1's here towards this 113. So there are some levels up here that we could potentially see this come up into one more time, either at like this as a Y wave, where this is an additional X wave here. Sorry, a Z wave if this is additional X wave here. Or alternatively, if this is a Y wave here, what we could actually have is that this is our A, all of this is becoming a B wave, and then we could still see this C wave to the upside. Technically speaking, as long as we hold this low, we could still argue that this count would be valid, even if we have A, B, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a C wave, something like this. That would still be viable. But really, until we actually break down below this point, we need to just be aware that we could either see this develop as a bigger impulsive structure, which could look to push us up towards towards this 1.618, which would be this 159, or alternatively, if this just develops in 3 waves, we need to be aware that that bearish count is still viable. So this count here would actually be looking at this entire move as a potential A wave to the downside, which would actually mean that we could actually see a much deeper correction still to play out, which could actually look to even push as deep as $10.90. Now, it's not necessary that we go all the way to 1-to-1. What we could see within this is that if we do start to break down in a bigger way, we could actually still see this find support towards the 0.618 area, which would be quite an interesting zone because it would be bringing us back into these lows here. And that would be a minimum requirement. We'd typically be looking for a C wave here, though technically speaking, if it crosses the A wave, we need to just be careful that it could look to truncate. But most of the times, if we get a truncation, it's going to be towards this 0.618 zone. So that's what we're looking out for within the internals here. Like I said, if we do continue to follow this impulsive count, and we do continue to get these internals playing out that we discussed, I will be favoring the idea of this count, because even if we just get this additional yellow count to the upside, that would be when we need to pay attention for that bigger scenario of whether this is becoming a bigger impulse. If this moves up past this 148 area, then potentially we can treat this beginning part as an additional 1 and a 2 here. If we fail to achieve this, this could just be ABC, in which case those bearish potentials come into play once again. So in the short term here, want to see whether we actually do get this 4th wave develop here back into the zone of this 89.51 to this $85 region. If, however, we fail to hold this $85 region and we get a bigger 3-wave move to the downside, then we need to start looking at that possibility of a triangle in this area, where we could look for another 3-wave move to the downside and then look for that 5-wave move to the upside. However, if we are going to argue triangle, if we lose this low here of this 75.20, that would invalidate that triangle possibility here, but it would not invalidate that possibility that this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this is a contracting diagonal. So we need to just be aware of that and just keep an eye on the counts as they. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. See you in the next one. Take care.